Your biological signature is currently drowning in signal pollution. Look at your attention fragmentation, the way you compulsively check notifications, the way your mind drifts to social validation during deep work, and the way you allow the digital noise of the herd to dictate your internal rhythm. You are a biological unit experiencing a state of terminal focus liquidation. The Matrix has successfully branded multitasking and staying connected as essential, but in the terminal of the absolute power grid, connectivity is the neural leash used to harvest your cognitive surplus. You are living in a state of chronic attention poverty, when 99% of your peers are perpetually distracted by the cheap stimuli designed to keep them reactive. Your nervous system is vibrating at the frequency of the consumer, the male whose focus is a commodity bought and sold by platforms, rather than a monolith of unshakable, directed intent. The system doesn't want your deep work. It wants your distraction to be the vacuum that allows the machine to bypass your critical filters. Thousands of years ago, power was defined by the biological laser. Your ancestor, the sovereign of the unmapped dark, understood that surveillance and silence were his primary tactical advantages. He mastered primal grounding in the law of the total presence. He didn't engage in information seeking for the sake of entertainment. He offered the visual rage of a total, unyielding fixation. His hierarchy was built on the foundation of predatory stillness, the understanding that the human brain is a machine that achieves peak lethality only when it is locked onto a single coordinate. His biological rebellion was his total refusal to be noticed. He possessed a mind that treated noise as a vulnerability and silence as a weapon of mass psychological disruption. He understood that the moment you broadcast your efforts to the tribe, you have surrendered your apex signature and invited the interference of the mediocre. His existence was a monolith of cold, silent execution that moved mountains before the world even knew he was awake. To master the focus protocol, you must first become psychologically invisible, a unit that operates in the blind spots of the collective. The focus protocol is the implementation of the collar of the silent predator for your final internal dominance. The system wants you to be transparent and vocal, words that mean calculable and weak. Absolute sovereignty is a biological siege of the stimulation grid. It is the visual rage of the architect, seeing the social grid for what it is, a series of distraction hooks, stimulus-response lures, and deciding to be the one who shorts the circuit by being categorically unreachable. You must develop a clinical cold contempt for status updates. Sharing is a horizontal bond for the herd. Absolute presence is a vertical tool for the elite. You must learn to occupy the blind spots of the social radar. Use the temporal noose of the information blackout to force your biology into a state of hyper-execution. Use the false safety of a calm, robotic delivery to mask the activation of your total internal independence. This is the color of freedom. By mastering the art of the unmoved soul, you become the only person in the room whose output is not being broadcast from their current need for attention. The Matrix cannot simulate the leverage of a man who is working in a total information void. Your time is the temporal noose, and your need to be seen is the knot. Every flex you post and every hustle porn video you consume is a signature on your own biological death warrant. I command you, initiate the total attention audit. Your mind is a biological weapon, and it is currently being jammed by the static of your own socialized vanity. You must perform a hard reset of the reward instincts. Stop being visible, the industrial waste designed to keep you in a state of perpetual comparison loop failure. Stop participating in their social feeds and digital town squares, the digital propaganda designed to make you believe that engagement is a victory. Stop using their communication protocols, the narratives designed to keep you in a state of constant accessibility failure. You must prune your life of noise parasites. If an app or a person requires your instant response to function, it is a biological saboteur. You must learn to love the weight of the silence. This is the monolith strategy, becoming a biological fortress that is unseen by choice and sovereign by design. Command, outwork them in the dark or be the shadow. The neural interface of your output capacity is currently suffering from validation leakage. Look at your feedback dependency, the way you pause your most critical tasks to check for likes, comments, or external nods of approval, effectively tethering your biological drive to the whims of the distracted collective. You are a biological unit experiencing a total cognitive resource drain. The Matrix has successfully replaced your primal focus with a systemic narcissism. You believe that by sharing your journey, you are building a brand, but in the terminal of the absolute power grid, you are merely providing the biological data required for the machine to index your ambitions and sell them back to you as consumer products. This is the visual rage of the domesticated male, seeing your high-value activation energy being bled out into performative productivity, while the true operator remains in a state of absolute zero, converting his total lack of external broadcasting into a biological pressure cooker that explodes into results while the 99% are still adjusting their filters. The system doesn't want your results. It wants your activity to be a public performance, ensuring your focus remains fragmented and your ego remains fragile. In the ancient hierarchy, the law of the unbreaking stone, the master was the one who could remain a biological ghost while accumulating lethal levels of capability. Your ancestor, the sovereign of the unmapped cold, understood that knowledge of the work was a security vulnerability. He mastered primal grounding by becoming an information black hole, a figure who absorbed every lesson and executed every strike without ever revealing his hand. He understood that to announce is to invite sabotage. If you are posting your deep work sessions on a social grid to feel a sense of accomplishment, you are acknowledging that the recognition is more valuable than the work. His biological superiority was built on the foundation of total informational asymmetry. He knew that the human brain is a machine that runs on social anticipation, and by refusing to participate in the broadcasting loop, he triggered a biological compression that allowed him to outpace entire tribes in total obscurity. He was a master of the visual rage of the finished product, the ability to emerge from the dark with a completed conquest while the world was still debating his existence. To be a master, you must first become psychologically unreachable to the praise of the mediocre. The focus protocol is the activation of the anti-chew protocol for your final internal dominance. The Matrix wants you to be accessible and engaged, words that mean harvestable and weak. Absolute sovereignty is a biological siege of the connectivity grid. It is the visual rage of the architect, seeing the social grid for what it is, a series of attention hooks, stimulus-response lures, and deciding to be the one who shorts the circuit by being indifferent to engagement. You must develop a clinical cold contempt for networking. Connection is a horizontal bond for the herd. Absolute presence is a vertical tool for the elite. You must learn to occupy the psychological high ground by controlling the flow of your own biological signals. Use the temporal noose of the dark phase to drive the system's influence into a state of data starvation. Use the false safety of a calm, robotic delivery to mask the activation of your total internal independence. This is the color of freedom. By mastering the art of the unmoved soul, you become the only person in the room whose value is not being broadcast from their digital footprint. The one who can go the longest without reporting his status is the one who controls the final impact. Your time is the temporal noose, and your need to be part of the conversation is the knot. Every comment section you enter and every group chat you maintain out of habit is a signature on your own biological death warrant. I command you, initiate the second stage of the focus rearmament. Your mind is a biological engine, and it is currently being choked by the interaction sludge of the unworthy. You must perform a total neural asset reset. Stop being connected, the industrial waste designed to keep you at the bottom of the ledger. Stop being a node in their network of mutual distraction. Stop being a unit of compliance in their ledger of men who are always online. You must prune your social interactions with the collar of absolute sovereignty. If a task requires you to show progress to feel motivated, the task is a biological failure. You must learn to love the weight of the total isolation. You must learn to love the friction-heavy hours where the noise of the collective is muted and your dominance is the only signal in the dark. This is the monolith strategy, becoming a biological fortress that is unindexable by choice and sovereign by design. Command: shut down the broadcast or be the content. Your biological